All right, welcome on this day of because today
Mm.
is the anniversary of my favorite Prince album of all time, Controversy or Count Your Blessings, according to some folks. It was released on October 14th, 1981. And we're going to talk a little bit more about controversy later, but we got to get through the housekeeping with quickness because we have a very, 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 very special guest with us today that we're going to chop it up with before we get to our What Did Prince Do This Week stuff. But we have to do housekeeping first, and we got to have a song so we can wake Michael up. So let's get this started. All right. Oh my God. So many people in the chat. I'm just ignoring everybody.
Good morning.
Okay, so I'm going to try to be hospitable, but still not keep our guests waiting too long. So we got Cassandra in the house. ATL, how Purple Heads, how are you? Asking for a friend in the ATL. I'm doing fine. How you doing, Michael Dean?
This music, I think I almost feel like I need to get up and start dancing or something. Like,
hey. Yeah. Yes, indeed. Hi, Sakari. Thank you for being here live. This is incredible. Also, Christina from Minneapolis. We're so happy to have you here. Nick Felden is here. Andre Staley, good afternoon, Young, and good morning, Mr. Dean. Thank you for getting my name right last week. Okay, Detroit is in the building. This is really fantastic. We got Zuzu's Pedals, afternoon from Greece. Thank you so much for joining us all the way from Greece. Hello, Deja. We got our second ATLian in the house, Audria. We got Drea Dances in the house. Always great to have you here, as well as Myron, as well as Byron. And Man Ray. Thank you, Man Ray. I was just typing happy 42nd anniversary to Professor D'Angela's favorite album, but she was already on it. You know I was on it. We got DC in the house. Welcome, AJJ. Welcome, Pamela. Wake up, Mr. Dean. Sending love from Minneapolis. We got 2 Minneapolis people in the chat this morning. Top of the morning, my literature brother, Blade Brown. Oh my God, we got 3. Minnesota is representing today. Wisdom and Love. We got New Ascension. We got Audra. Yes, best album cover of all time. Controversy. We got Annie from France. We got Purple Cat Confetti. We got Scorpio. And now we can get started because Kim from the ATL is here. And no way. We got somebody from Alabama. I was born and raised in Alabama. And I got to shout out my Bama folks. So good morning, Marshall. I love Baby Love. Hello, India, representing the DMV.
What up, India?
Yeah, and we got Lee Christian from the UK. We got Canada in the house. Canada was strong last week. You guys really came through. We got Laura Tiebert. Welcome, Laura. We have a very special guest. I'm sure you're going to be excited to hear from them. And good morning from sunny Arizona. Yes, the Controversy album cover is fire. But I'm speaking really fast because I don't want to keep my guests waiting. But we got to get through our housekeeping with the quickness. So this is What Did Prince Do This Week? Week number 41. And the estate of Prince Rogers Nelson is not affiliated, associated, or connected with the What Did Prince Do This Week book club series. It's hard to talk with this going on in the back.
Jack Rum.
Say that again?
Yeah. I say I don't even know if I'm after the right drinks, but just at the bar and this is playing. Like, give me a Jack Rum and then a kamikaze for the young lady over there.
Yes. Listen to that trumpet. All right, okay. I already said the state of Prince Rogers Nelson is not affiliated. We're going week to week, not day to day. You can follow the detailed schedule on our book club website. You do not need the expanded edition. Hold on, Michael Dean. Where your book at? You do not need the expanded edition, but that's what we're reading. That's what we're reading. Oh my God. We got Redline the DJ here. We got Chip and Sparrow from Japan. We got Vanessa here. Oh my goodness. Vanessa is in the house. All right. And these will be archived on my YouTube channel, Polished Solid, as well as Michael Dean's Wow, I screwed this up. As well as Michael Dean's YouTube channel, M. Dean. Please subscribe, like, and help spread the word. Hashtag WDPDTW for What Did Prince Do This Week? And we are currently listening to the one and only Eric Leeds and Paul Peterson from the album No Words. And the song is Burning Still.
It does kind of sound like something Spike would have had.
It totally sounds like a Spike Lee joint. And speaking of Spike Lee, if you're in the New York City area, there is an incredible exhibition at the Brooklyn Museum. And it's like it's actually Spike Lee's collection. He has this insane collection. He has 2 photos. We're going to have to talk about it next week because I didn't have time to put everything in the slide deck because we got a special guest. So we want to say hello, the Adult Symphony Channel. All right, this is a great way to bring on our special guest. Some of you may not know, but we know. If you know anything about diamonds and pearls, we have Pearl with us. Let's welcome Robia.
It's a party in here. Hold on. Is it Saturday morning or is it Friday night? What?
Indeed.
Welcome.
Thank you. Welcome. So good to see you guys. Thank you.
Yeah. So every Saturday, Robia, Michael is on the West Coast. I'm on the East Coast. So it's mad early. And so we have to wake him up. So we always play music to get him started
little
going.
Coffee, little party, got our grooves on. Come on.
Yeah. All right.
Hey, everybody. So glad to be on with y'all. Looking forward to our little chat. What did Prince do this week? I don't know. Tell me. What did he do? Was I a part of it?
No, you weren't, because we're actually in 1983. We're actually going through 1983 week by week. And then next year, we're going to go through 1984 week by week. Then the following year, we're going to go through 85. We're going to go through 86. And then hopefully Dwayne will have written the 3rd book, and whichever the 3rd book will be. All right, we got some Buffy fans here in the house. Yeah, that's incredible.
Well, once you hit 91 and 92, I'll pop back on and we'll have a little rendezvous for 92.
Yes. But we're going to have a rendezvous for 91 and 92 today because we got you in the house right now. Yes, exactly. So I love this. It says, welcome, Robia. Are you here for the audition? Very nice.
Pearl.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. All right. So I want to, first of all, say a couple things before we get started. You were already on Michael Dean's podcast, and you had an incredible conversation with Michael Dean. So anybody who wants to hear that conversation again, you can always find the slide deck on the webpage for the book club, which is bookclub.polishsolid.com, is at the bottom of the page. Any image that you see, most times, if you click on it, it will take you somewhere, and this will take you to Michael Dean's conversation with the one and only Robia Scott. And one thing that I
add one thing to that real quick, just a salute to Robia. I believe, if not already, if maybe today, that's about to hit 10,000 views. So salute to you. That's awesome.
Nice.
That's incredible. I don't even hit like 500. So that's incredible. Thank you so
much.
Now,
come on. We got the magic combo right here.
We're here now. The team is united.
Yes, the team is united. And in addition to talking to Michael Dean, you also spoke with Dr. Funkenberry, which was also like so much fun. I really love you guys were kind of doing memorabilia, like a versus in terms of memorabilia, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I pulled out my old hot pants from the Cream video. Come on, hot pants came out.
Hilarious.
Out. I love that you did that. That was really incredible. And the reason why I'm pointing these two podcasts out is because I don't want you to like repeat what you've already said. So I just want people to know that, you know, you've been having some amazing conversations with Michael and with Dr. Funkenberry. And hopefully we're going to have some different conversations today, but still
Fresh
within
material.
91,
Okay.
92. Yes, we're going to try. We're going to try to
Let me
make
see
that
what I
happen.
got in the archives, in the vault, if you will.
Dig deep.
Oh, well, hello.
Yes, but we have to start with the most iconic photo of Prince's. I personally think absolutely love this photo shoot with Randy St. Nicholas.
Mm-hmm.
And I love Diamond in Pearl yourself, and like just incredible, the yellow citron guitar. Can you tell us, it's like when you see this image, like what comes to mind? Like what's the first thing that pops in your head when you saw that come up just now?
I loved these images as well. Do you have the whole collection? Do you have the different variations?
Yes.
Yep. Love it.
Yes.
Love it. Yeah, I mean, those are amazing. Hey, do you have those in high res? Are those high res photos?
They're not that high res, but I'll send them to you.
I want the high res. I just reached out to Randy. I haven't talked to her in forever. I just reached out to her on Instagram. Randy, if you see this, get in touch with me because I don't even have these in high res. And these are like classics. This is maybe one of my favorite photo shoots. I just remember us, you know, everything with Prince was so impromptu. It just always seemed like we didn't really even know what was happening. And then all of a sudden it was like, throw on these unitards, come over here. And then we're just doing a photo shoot, you know? And so, you know, I think that's the thing with being a dancer too. You kind of just go with it. So, and we did, you know, we just bookended him. We were wrapped around his legs, doing all different moves. You know, Lori and I just figuring out the poses, Randy directing us a little bit, Prince just being Prince, right? And I just thought those were so gorgeous. Those are some of my favorites. Everything that Randy did was fantastic. I've been going through my own little vault lately because of the release, and I'm super excited. And I pulled out some oldies but goodies that you probably haven't seen. So if you want fresh material, I'm giving you fresh material.
I'm ready.
Randy St. Nicholas shot this, and I actually turned it into a headshot. I mean, look at that. Robia Lamore. I have my maiden name on there. And
that's
so
beautiful.
You might remember some of these pictures. You might actually be able to find some of these where there was this, me and Lori together with these chains all around us, and we're holding onto the chains. And there was a little series with that too. There's so many photos. I wish I could find more of those. So we did that, which I thought was kind of cool. And I made it into a headshot. Like, I don't know what commercial audition I was going to go on. And I was going to have chains, right? Like, hi, let me go on your cereal commercial. But you got to do what you do.
Oh, those could have been Fruit Loops.
Those could have been some Fruit Loops, right? Oh, I'm going in and out of focus. There we go. And then this is one of my favorites that's kind of near and dear that I don't really share too much, but I just thought this was maybe one of my favorite photographs that Randy ever took. This might have been, I think this was from the same shoot, and then she pulled Lori aside and did some singles. She pulled me aside and we did some singles. And we did this. Look at this piece of
wow.
Art. How gorgeous is that?
Yes, the lighting.
The lighting and the way she took my dress that was all fringed and kind of draped it over my leg like that. And that little shadow in the back with the leg. Yeah. I mean, that was Randy. She's just artsy. So I have nothing to say but all goodness about those pictures.
Yes. Wow. And I think you said on either Michael or Dr. Funkenberry that this was one of your, sorry, that is one of your favorite photos.
It is. I want that one in high res too. I don't have it in high res. For some reason, I just love that one. I just love how we're wrapped around his legs like that, and the hair, and he just looks great with the red and the yellow. I just love that one.
Yeah. Speaking of the red, so he was on the cover of, I don't even know if I have, he was on the cover of Spin magazine. I have it. I just can't put my hands on. Oh, here we go. Let me show you real quick. Can I
see what you have?
So he's on the cover of Spin, but they actually photoshopped this into black instead of red, which I always
Oh,
found interesting. And I was just wondering if you knew anything about that. Why did they turn this black? Did Prince say anything about that?
I
Or
have absolutely no idea about that. And you would think the red would work because they used red text on that
yeah,
on the image. So I'm not sure why they chose that. No.
no, yeah, I always thought that was odd. Now, this is a photo that I don't have any context for. Do you? Do you remember this? Can you talk a little bit about the photo?
Okay, look at the hats. The hats to me are hysterical. I have even an 8x10 somewhere of me, of the three of us in those hats, just like a close up. I've got to pull that one
Yeah,
out, but I've never, yeah,
I
I got
have.
to find that one. You have it? Oh, wow. I
Is
don't
that
have
it?
that one. Well, I
Oh,
have a few. Yes, I have some from this series, but I don't know if I've seen that one. Geez, look at Lori. She's like modelly angry in her little beautiful face. Look at her looking great.
so I don't have like these aren't the best images in terms of quality. Like they're very
Right.
low res. And so I wanted to ask you, like, what are on these hats? They look like
I
light.
have no idea. I have no idea. I don't know why we thought that that was a good idea. I look back at the ones that I have and I am just like laughing about those hats. But Prince is so eclectic. Everything has to be, out of the ordinary, unusual.
And so
Speaking of that, let me share a little story about this because I think this kind of ties in and I was thinking about some things to share with you that I hadn't shared. Prince was always about being standout. He was always about being unique. He was always about bringing something fresh on the scene. And I remember when all of this started and we had shot the Cream video and then we went back and shot the Get Off video. And we were at Paisley Park at the time, which became my home away from home, which was so awesome. And I don't know what we were doing, but at some point, Prince, called me into his apartment there at Paisley Park. He had his like lounge area. It was his little living space. And I think it was me and Lori. I think we were together. And he showed us the edit of the Cream video. And it was the first time we'd seen anything. And we were just, so beautiful. We were so blown away. And I just remember him sort of digging in and asking us, what do you think? What do you think about how you two look, about how you two are coming off? And so, I was a kid. I wasn't even sure. I'm 20 years old, so I was just like, this is cool. I like it. And I remember he just dropped a couple things in the conversation. He said, there are no women artists out there doing anything really fresh and new right now. And I just thought, God, this is so interesting the way he thinks. And he said, what's Madonna doing? Like she was, she still is, but she was like Madonna, right, at the time, releasing her stuff. And I just remember him dropping some names. He's like, what's Madonna doing right now? Does she have anything out? Is she doing anything cutting edge? Is she new and fresh? And I was just like, I don't know. And he was like, what about this artist? What about that artist? And he said, no. Right now, you two, Diamond and Pearl, are what's hot. Like you two are fresh. You two are bringing something new, and no one else is doing it. And I was like, oh, Prince, thank you. But again, I didn't think like that. I was young. I was just excited to be doing this dance job. I didn't think of it from that scope of being an artist and bringing something fresh on the scene and doing something that hadn't been done and giving the audience, the fans, something that was like hot off the presses. So not that those hats were really I don't know if those hats were so cutting edge, but I think he was always just that was just so important to him, to be constantly reinventing, right? To be constantly bringing something, taking things to the next level, to be doing art, to producing videos, bringing out content that was just always taking it, always taking it to the next level and being fresh on the scene. So I think that was kind of cool.
So actually, I had this towards the end of my slide deck for you, but since you kind of like laid it up, there is this 51 hours single that I'm assuming that you recorded with Lori, and also Carmen Electra is on this. Can you tell us anything about this, and also if there was a plan for an album, or did it just end with the single?
again, I don't even know how all of these things come about. I didn't have any musical ambitions to be a singer or do any of that. That was never my thing. I was more dancing and acting, which after I retired from Prince, I went full force into acting. But Lori did. She wanted to do some singing. So I think this might have been a conversation they maybe had that I wasn't a part of. And then, before I know it, I remember being in the hotel room somewhere. I don't know. I think we were even on tour, maybe. It's hard to put everything together because it was 30 years ago.
No,
But
that's
so 30 years, 30 years. um, so I remember, I think I was like laying on my hotel bed and I got like some track and then I had sort of a script and I was just like, what is this? And then Prince is saying, you guys are going to do this song. And I think he said to me, Lori really wants to do this. So she's going to kind of be featured on this. And then it even said, Pearl, see you on the B-side. Um, so it was a little outside of my comfort zone. I'm like rapping or something. Like I'm not, really like that's not my vibe. But I liked being in the studio and doing it. And then again, I don't really know what happened. Maybe if it, I think Prince like puts the feelers out there and if it seems like something kind of catches fire, then he continues with it. So I don't know what happened with that and why we didn't continue with it, but that was it. One track, 51
How
hours.
was the studio experience for you? Were you nervous, or did it take a long time to learn the lyrics? I was just curious, like from your
I was
perspective.
nervous because it was very unfamiliar.
Mm.
It was an unfamiliar experience. I was nervous. I think Lori definitely felt more comfortable. She was super excited to have that opportunity. I was just like, I think just trying to like bring something good and do the best I could with it. But anything creative. I'm a creative person. I love, expression and artistry. So I was down for tapping into this other aspect of myself. And then I don't think Carmen was with us. It was Lori and I were
Oh,
um, yeah, she wasn't with us. She did her stuff separately. So it was me and Lori doing the recording, and then that was it. You record in the studio, and then you see what happens.
mm.
Was that
so
released? Did they release it was released, right?
it I don't know. So this is Prince Vault, which is, all it's our Bible, Robia, in case you don't know, princevault.com. And Prince Vault says 51 Hours was recorded in mid-April of 1992 at Studios 301 in Sydney, Australia during the Diamonds
Okay,
and
so
Pearls
we
tour.
were on tour. Okay, yep, yep.
Yep. And it says it was only broadcasted on Spanish radio in the summer of 1992.
That was random.
Okay, I don't understand that, but okay.
Let's test the market out. We're gonna put it out in Spanish.
Yeah, but it says Prince had around 20 copies of an in-house 12-inch vinyl press containing a longer version of the track, but the copies were not officially distributed and the single remains unreleased.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Dwayne and everyone, they're digging into the vault. So we'll see if
Yeah.
51 Hours makes an appearance. I'd like to
Yeah,
hear those extended versions.
I would too. I think we all would. And then there's a question in the chat from Revolution 86. Does Robia still have all of her outfits from the DMP era?
I have absolutely nothing, unfortunately. All I have are those little shorts, those little hot pants from the Cream video. That is it. I don't have that blue jumpsuit from the Get Off, the extended like house mix version. I don't have the red dress. Let me pull your zipper down. No, I don't have. I would love to have that beaded cream. No, I've got absolutely nothing. Just the hot pants.
Did you ever have it, or was it always just you wore it at that moment and it was given back?
No, some of those things were ours. I might have shared this story with you. A lot of, Prince had his whole wardrobe department. And they were incredible and they made everything for him. I think they might have made those jeweled tops for us. But at that time, we didn't have them making everything for us, and they weren't really styling us, and people didn't have stylists back in the day like they do now. So this was the time where you just did your own thing. So I remember, we'd get a phone call, you're going to be on hard copy, and then they gave us a budget, and then Lori and I would just go drive around LA. We'd go shopping together. We'd pick out some outfits, and we'd sort of put our own thing together. So I think we came up with those blue jumpsuits and just all of our different outfits. But then I think they got to keep them. So they might exist somewhere in the wardrobe vault. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
Let's hope. So Deja actually has a follow-up question to what you just said. Who did you and Lori's hair for the music videos? Your hair was on point.
It was on point. My hair is not big anymore. I got to get it. Hold on. Here we go. There we go. It was the 90s, baby. Oh, wait, this is how we did it. Oh my gosh. Let me just tell you what's so funny. When you're on tour and you're used to seeing yourself like that every single day, we'd have double, triple eyelashes on. The hair was so big, and that's just how you get used to seeing yourself. And I remember after the tour, I came home and I didn't have 3 sets of lashes on, and it looked like I just didn't even look like myself. I was so used to the hair. And you can also see there's some pictures that are so funny. As we progressed, the hair just got bigger and bigger and bigger. There are a couple pictures of us in these silver lame, like bra tops and little shorts, which you can probably find if you look online. And our hair was like a big round helmet. It is hysterical. Like you start to lose all perspective once you start teasing, it's over. So, I should know the names of those makeup artists and hairstylists because they were so incredible. I remember for Cream, it was our first part of the job, and it was really supposed to be the only part of the job. When we got hired, it was solely for that Cream video. And it was during rehearsals where I think Prince just had the epiphany that there was some chemistry. And I don't think he went into it with the intention of naming us Diamond and Pearl and finding a Diamond and Pearl. Maybe he did, but I don't think so. And so, Cream was the beginning of the whole thing. And I remember walking into the makeup and hair trailer in the morning, and they had told us that they flew in like the best of the best from New York City. We were in LA, and they said, they found the best hair and makeup people. And I should know, I'm sure we can look it up and find their names again. I should know that, but it's been so many years. But I remember the guy who did my hair and makeup, and he was just, it was fantastic. It was fantastic. So I'm sorry I can't give him props, but I'm sure we can look him up and find who they are. But they were they were like top of the game.
Yeah, it wasn't Earl Jones, was it? Because I don't know if he was still there by that time.
I don't think so. Prince had his own team that were just for him. But no, we had Lori and I had like a special person. And then all the other girls had, I think, the rest of their team. Like this guy, we had like the main guy. And then they designed the looks for us and how we were going to look and the hair and the makeup. And that's when it really, that's when the look was really established of us, which I was happy about. It looked good.
So somebody asked a very important question in here that I totally forgot about this when we were talking originally.
Yes, bring it on.
Did Prince lick the cream off of your finger? Was that your finger? Was that impromptu?
This is this one right here. This is where it all happened.
Was that scripted?
This is where it all happened right here.
That's the spot.
Yeah, I haven't watched this one yet.
Hilarious.
No. This one still goes unwatched to this day.
Was that a part of the script?
No, that was not a part of the script. No. And then Lori got a little jealous. She threw in her impromptu line. Oh, I see he wants some of yours, but he doesn't want any of mine. I was like, oh no, whatever.
That was real.
It was real. And I was kind of surprised by that too. I just, I don't know. I was surprised that he pulled that one off, but people love that. They love that little kind of sexy. Yeah, so this was fun. We were out on the town. Tell me, where were we? You probably know more than I do.
Actually, no, I don't. That's the reason why I brought this photo up, because I had no context for it. So I'm hoping maybe someone in the chat, if anyone knows where this is from. I think you're probably maybe going to an award show, possibly, or I don't know. So maybe
as
someone
you can see, I had no stylist. If we had a stylist, we would have done a little better. But I was also super conservative, which I always looked like that, like more covered. And then Lori was always, showing off her legs, and she had great legs, so she should show them off. But
I
yeah,
never
you can
really
see a lot of pictures of us with like me and like fully covered head to toe, and then her like a little more revealing. But yeah, someone tell us, where were we? Were we going to a club? Were we going to an event?
Oh, here we go. I love our audience. Man Ray comes through for the win. Los Angeles Songwriters Award Show.
Oh wow. So that was an award show. Look at that. Like we should have been a lot probably more dressed up with an award show.
You look great to me. Like I wouldn't even
Oh,
have picked up on that. Like,
oh, thank you.
who these baddies?
It was so fun. We just did so many incredible things to just be, literally hand in hand with Prince for a couple years. It was a blast. You
So
look
Kim
comfortably early 90s. I know. I am the poster child. I was early 90s, baby.
All right, so I'm going to start showing some images from videos, and when they pop up, just tell us what pops up in your head. Like, what's your first memory? What's the first thing that sort of comes to mind? Get off.
Yeah.
That moves.
I know. I loved this video. I loved everything about this. There was nothing shocking or surprising. When you're a dancer, you're used to being in like, kind of like into your sexuality a little bit. And I mean, it just was like, yep, this is a music video. Let's do it. I remember again, I think, Lori did have some ambitions to do more like choreography and things like that. So she actually put the whole beginning part of the number together and like excluded me. I was like, thanks, girl. I love that you're like in the whole thing in the beginning. Yeah, I love Lori, by the way. We got along great. We were like sisters. We had a really great relationship. I mean, we were tight because we just, no one had this experience but me and her. So she had her strengths. I had my strengths. Sometimes there was a little competition, but for the most part, we just really flowed together. But then every so often there'd be something like, thanks that you put this whole beginning part of the video together and you kind of left me out. Like, what the heck, But then I think I got some really good stuff in that video. And I loved just those moments with me and Prince and him kind of wrapping his arms around me. And then, of course, like the reveal, that was kind of like crazy and racy. And then I remember, of course, that video coming out and it being so controversial and like, oh my gosh, it's so like overtly sexual. And if you look at the videos today, oh my gosh, my husband, just when all of this was released and we knew that the new music was coming out, I just did a walk down memory lane and I started pulling up videos and sharing them with my husband. He'd seen them all, but we hadn't watched them in a while. And when he watched the Get Off, he actually said like, wow, this is surprisingly tame. Compared to what is out there now. So, but I loved every part of it. I just love that experience. And we did have a choreographer who actually did the choreography, but Lori, I think, just put that little beginning part together on her own. And yeah, I mean, I loved the dress. I loved those moments with him. I loved being with the band and watching what they were doing. And it was just, I mean, that was an experience. You walked on set and it was like a whole other world. So, yeah.
It really was. Lee Christian in the chat is saying he remembers reading an article where you said that you were wearing big granny pants for the Get Off video. Do you remember that?
Okay, I might have said because I sometimes talk about being a little bit more conservative. And then people are like, yeah, but you ripped down to a bra and underwear. So that's real conservative. But I said, but no, it was actually, the bottoms they weren't like a G-string or anything. I think they might, I don't remember if they even thought about maybe me being in a G-string, but that was not going to happen. So if you do look at the undies, like they're pretty coverage. They're pretty full coverage. So I might have actually said granny pants. That might have been pushing it. I don't think they were granny level, but they weren't like even the bathing suits we see today, which are like Brazilian, like way up there.
Yeah, definitely.
They covered.
So I'm curious, did you see Coming to America? Because
they did.
What did you like when you first saw that? What was your response to Get Off?
You know what? This was so long ago. I would have to have a refresher to even.
Okay.
So they did a whole number, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
they did the entire Get Off. I mean, the rap and everything. And the second Coming to America #2, not the first one that came out in 2021. And again, on the slideshow, if you click on this image, it'll take you directly to that part. They clipped it out on YouTube. It's an
Okay.
incredible performance.
I'm gonna
So
click on that image because I'd like to rewatch that. Yeah.
yeah,
What's her name right there again?
um,
Tiana,
is it Tiani Taylor? I think it's Tiani or Tiana Taylor. I
phenomenal.
love
She's dope.
Yeah, it's a great performance. All right, next video, Get Off House
Yeah.
Style. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of house style?
First thing that comes to mind is, again, I don't remember how this came about, but I don't think it was like some super planned thing. It was just like, we were on this set, the music's rolling. It was very casual, it wasn't like a big, huge production. It could have been something where we were at Paisley Park and then, we just find out, oh, you're going to film something tonight. Oh, okay. And then we get on set. And that one was all freestyle. That was all just me and Lori just doing our thing. So they just play the music and we just go to town, and there's the shots, I think, of us like driving in the car. There's all different things we did with Prince that somehow just made it all into that video, like sitting at the table, dinner table, and then dancing around, driving in the bright yellow BMW, right? That's in
Yeah.
there, right? I think in
And
that one.
this is the one you were at the Gappin House, and there's a lot of I don't know, they're like flowy scrims or something, and it's very ethereal. Rosie
That was
Gaines is
Prince,
there.
though. Prince
Yeah.
always had the flowy stuff. Like that was him. Like when we were, that was Prince. When we were on tour, I remember just cracking up because we would go into, some place around the world, and some places we would stay for a while, but there were certain venues, you're just kind of in and out quickly. But there's a team that comes in, and our backstage room looks like nothing. It's like a couple chairs and couches for the band and for me and Lori or whatever. But everywhere we went, his backstage room, even if he was in it for an hour, would be Princed out. And there's a team, and there's like boxes of his Prince stuff. And they come in, and there's, and every light had to have stuff over it because all the light had to be diffused. Every lamp in the room had to have flowy drapes on it in different colors, and the fluffy rugs and the things and the pillows and it was
Mhm.
just like his little world went with him wherever he went. So yeah, I'm not surprised. There was always flowy chiffon pieces whenever you were
Yes,
around Prince. There was flowy things. Yeah,
It's like
that
the
was the word
vibe
I was looking
team.
for. Chiffon. Yeah,
chiffon.
that's not even in my mental vocabulary.
Yeah.
I would love to talk to the people who that's their job, like to prepare a room for Prince and have, like you said, all his stuff has to be set up. That's amazing. Like you can have somebody come in and vibe it out for you, so you feel like you at home. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
all your issues.
And when you're Prince, that's what you do. I mean, he never just sat on, a folding chair everywhere he went. And I would have loved to see the process too, to see the room, to see the team come in, to see how long it took him to print it out.
Mhm.
But I
And the
never went
person's job
into,
that was to check it, like make sure it was all right.
oh, make sure it's printed out. Like, do your checklist. Like, is there enough chiffon? Is there chiffon check? I
So
never went
Sakari,
into a room with prints that wasn't printed out.
yeah. So Sakari mentions Maite's book, and she talks about this, the people who would come into the rooms. And I want to say that she called it foo-foo, that they would foo-foo it up. Can someone tell me if I'm wrong? What was that term that was used? And then also ML is asking Robia, what is your beauty secret for the Prince fans?
Oh, that's
Mm.
sweet. Well, I mean, I think we could, let me try to keep that short and sweet. I mean, obviously, like I eat really healthy and exercise and take care of myself. But I do think a lot of how we look on the outside is reflective of where we are on the inside.
Mm.
So I have worked really hard over the years to be at peace, to kind of guard my heart or garden my heart, till the soil of my heart. I'm very careful to not get into a lot of offense and unforgiveness and negativity. I teach on these principles as well because I think they're super important in terms of having physical health, emotional health, and physical beauty. So I'm really big on that. I'm really big on not being gossipy, watching my mouth, not speaking things that are death and nasty and negative, really speaking life. That's a big part of the things that I teach, because words are very powerful and words are very creative, and the things that you speak are a part of how you form and shape your life. So I actually speak things that are kind of where I want to go. I speak. I do a lot of that. I speak physical things, emotional things, work things. I'm big on the mouth. And then also my spiritual walk. I think that's a big part of it, that I'm connected with God. And part of, the word, if you're a Bible person, is that he will renew your youth. And I hold fast to scriptures like that. I'm like, I expect to see that. So there are a lot of pieces of the puzzle when it comes to that.
So I'm curious, have you ever read this book by, it's called The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz?
That sounds very familiar.
The reason why I say it is it's basically 4 agreements. One of the agreements is be impeccable with your word. And he talks a lot about being very careful about what comes out of your mouth. And your words create your thoughts and, and all of that kind of thing. And then another one of the agreements is do not take it personally, which is actually the hardest agreements you can do. Another agreement is do your best, even though your best varies from day to day. And the fourth one is, I want to say it's your world reflects your word, but I could be wrong about that because I haven't read that in a while.
I'm going to look that up because that aligns. One of the things I say is outer experience is a reflection of inner reality.
So the 4 agreements, it's a book that I've read several times. I usually read it now. I know I need to read it again. I usually read it every 2 to 3 years. And he has a lot of other books as well, like The Mastery of Love and some really, really great books. So the chat always comes through. It was the Foo team. That's what I thought it was called. Yeah, the Foo team. And Robin says, I got to work backstage at a show in 1994 and got a peek into his room, and it was dark and very luxe. I didn't look or linger too long because I didn't want to get into trouble, but it was what you would have imagined. The Foo big real.
The foo was real, and the room always had to be lit properly. It was never stark, fluorescent lighting. Lighting was really important to him. He had to create the atmosphere. He had to create the mood,
What did it smell in the room? Do you remember what it smelled?
I don't remember the smells. I don't think, but the candles were lit, it was a vibe. It was a vibe.
And I just want to give this shout out to Todd Starr that says, I remember Robia on a 90210 episode back in the 90s.
Okay, Todd, do you remember what I played and the name of the episode? And do you remember whose girlfriend I was on the show? Come on. Todd, let's see what you got. Do you remember the name of the episode? What kind of fan are you?
Wow. I remember this.
Robia, yes, we know. Thank you.
Yes.
So we'll give you a second to answer that. Okay. I bought the cassette of the Japanese singer Karuhu because you're on that track. I know. I think, Michael, did you share with me about that video, or is that a different video?
I think it might have been Funkenberry. I don't remember this.
Yeah, it might have been Funkenberry.
Okay, yeah. So I looked that back up and I remember doing that. I had forgotten all about that job. I did so many things for Japan. That's always big when you're a dancer. There's a lot of artists, music videos, different things like that, tours for that. I was Brendan's girlfriend. That's right. I was the girl from New York City, even though I didn't have an accent. I would have loved to have an accent. They didn't give me that. So I was the girl from New York. I came into town at the beach house in Malibu. That was my very first job after Prince, by the way. So I retired from Prince. After Prince moved on to the next album and Diamonds and Pearls was done, I decided that was the pinnacle. I was not ever going to do dance jobs better than that. I had reached the top of the game working with Prince, and I retired after Prince. I think I was 21 or 22 years old, and then just jumped into acting full force with the same intensity that I studied as a dancer. When you're a dancer, you are taking classes 5, 6, 7, 8 hours a day. So I did the same thing with acting, which is unusual. People sometimes go to one acting class a week, but I went full bore, intensive, class after class after class, decided I was going to do that, started going on auditions. And I remember, I was nervous. This is a whole new world, going on auditions. And I just wanted to do a good audition. That was my whole goal. And I went into 90210. Went into 90210, and I had such a good audition. And I walked out and I thought, oh my gosh, I got a little nervous. I was like, oh, I might actually get this job and have to do it. Like wasn't even thinking about it. I might actually have to do this job and not just do an audition, because I knew that it was all happening in the room. And I did. I got the job, and it was so funny because my agent called. And they had known me, from the Prince stuff. And they said, she better not bring her diva diamond and pearl Prince thing to the set. Right. Little did they know that's so not who I am. I'm so laid back. I'm so not the diva. Speaking of divas on the set, they already had their divas on the set. That was an issue. Right? Like the girls, there was a lot of that drama about the girls and Shannon Doherty and whatever, all that stuff. I was like, that's the furthest thing. I'm so far from that. I'm like t-shirt and jeans girl, combat boots, smoking my cigarettes, like just chill. That's who I was, like edgy, chill girl. And I remember walking on that set, and Luke Perry saw my like square toe boots with like the chain on the side, and he was like, dang, those boots. I was like, I know.
Luke Perry, man, back then.
I was like edgy. I was so much edgier, and like that was kind of my vibe. But that was a blast. I did 2 episodes on that show, and they sort of left it open that it could have gone on. And I was so bummed that they did not make me more of a regular character, because I loved working with Jason Priestley. I loved being there, but it didn't happen. But then Buffy came along, and then I got to be a regular character, and that was a great show. So
I don't know if people today understand that 90210 was a huge show back then. Like that was big at the time. I used to watch that show.
Yeah. And Buffy, Buffy was just a phenomenon. Yeah, it really was.
And when I got Buffy, it hadn't even aired yet. So I was in, I came in at the end of the first season. It hadn't even been on the air. So no one knew what it was except from the movie. And I remember, again, I was supposed to just do a lot of my jobs. I was supposed to just do one, and then it turned into a lot. Like Prince was supposed to be one video. It turned into all of that. Buffy was supposed to be one episode. I remember getting the script and just thinking right away, wow, this is so bantery. It's so well written. It's so clever. Loved my character. She was so sassy.
And was Josh Whedon writing these scripts back then? Okay.
Yep. And actually, did he write that one? No, I don't think he wrote that one. He didn't write that one. Ashley and Tom wrote that one, but he directed them all. He was a creator director. And then, sorry, I'm going in and out of focus. And yeah, we did it, and it was great. Did that episode, and then they just kept calling me back, which was awesome. Yeah,
that was awesome. So Hannah in the chat is saying, besides 51 Hours, were there any other projects that you were involved in that didn't see the light yet?
Not that I'm aware of. There might be some things that I have forgotten, things that we just filmed randomly, because that's how everything was.
Right.
So we'll see. As things come out of the vault, I might be surprised right along with you, Yeah.
Another question, was Prince tough on you about smoking?
Yes. And I cannot believe he hated cigarettes. I absolutely, positively cannot believe that he let me have a cigarette on the album cover. Like, that is shocking to me that went down that way.
Oh, you got the original.
Yep. See if you can kind of turn that in a way, because you can see that cigarette right in my hand there. Yep, there it is, like that cigarette. And I remember it was so smoky. The smoke was everywhere. It was like such a pain.
Wow.
That was so.
Yes.
See, that's another example of Prince, like never been done, never been done with the hologram, and him just having these ideas of always wanting to do something that had never been done.
Yep.
So that was
So
super.
Lee Christian is saying one of the saddest deaths in Buffy. So did your character
Yeah, my
have
character had a brutal death. It was very sad. It was very shocking to the audience. The episode was so artistic and beautiful the way they did it. I remember when Joss, I was just walking across the lot one day with him, and I remember him sharing with me that my character was going to die. And he did it so nonchalant. He was like, I said, oh, I just casually said, oh, what's going to happen? Fill me in on a little bit of what's going to happen in the season. And he's like, well, Buffy's going to do this, Allison, this is going to happen. You're going to die. And then da 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 da. And I was like, what? Rewind. And I said, okay, I guess that's that. And then I did. I remember a few weeks later, whatever, I got my next script and there it was, dead. But I think that they did a great job with how that impacted my character. And really, some things you just have to understand sort of behind the scenes, just how things work. You can't really kill off a main character that's under contract. And I wasn't. And so I was sort of like the most viable person to kill off. Plus, with the love interest, that was, the love relationship that was starting to be cultivated. And it just kind of made sense to kill me off. And then honestly, at that time, I was also really growing in my faith. And as much as I love Buffy, and I think that it was an excellent show, there was a lot of occultish and things going on in that show that as I started to grow in my faith, like you could really feel that on the set. You could really feel when you were on these scenes where there was a lot of witchcraft things happening. And, just like Prince created his foo-foo environment, when you're on a TV show, the environment is created. And the smoke and the darkness and the witch stuff and the things happening. And like you could feel the weight of that. You could feel the darkness. And I remember as I was coming to the end of the show, feeling like, God, I just like, this is a lot. Like, I don't really necessarily want to be in this environment in the same way. So it worked out.
That's interesting that you say that. Just real quick. I mean,
Yeah,
so you're saying like being on a set like that, you kind of feel, I don't know, like spirits, or you just feel a certain energy coming from whatever the topic was. And in this case, it's about witchcraft and things of that nature. You say, even as a person, a part of it, you started to feel the effects of that? Or
absolutely. The writers and the creators took the job very seriously. So when they were creating witchcraft type of scenes and spells, they would do research and find authentic types of dialogue and things that would be spoken. So, things were just like we just talked about a couple minutes ago about the power of the tongue and how that's a very powerful force. So when you're speaking things and releasing things, you would feel that kind of atmosphere shift. And the more sensitive I was becoming to the spiritual realm, which is a real realm, even though we don't see it, there's a real realm happening. And the more I was becoming sensitive to that, the more the sensitivity was like, oh, this is dark. There's some things here that I just didn't want to be engaged with anymore. So the timing of my departure was perfect.
Wow. Yeah, that's why a lot of these kind of movies movie be called Ujima or whatever I'm like, nah,
I don't do any of those.
Maybe they be saying something in the movie.
I'm like, out the door. Yeah, I don't put myself in those environments. I just don't want to be in that. That's, for me, it's not entertainment. I don't enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah, this reminds me of a story that Jill Jones talked about Prince's father, that she and Prince's father, John L. Nelson, went to go see Cats. And they came back like almost immediately. And Prince was like, what happened? And Jill was like, your father did not want to be there because it was just not, like it was weird seeing these characters sort of dressed out, and it really freaked him out.
Cats?
Yeah, cats. Yes. He didn't want to see that.
That's funny.
So another question from Hannah. How was it like being backstage during the Diamonds and Pearls tour? Can you share some info about that with us? Was it stressy?
It was not stressy. It was a blast. The tour was an amazing experience. My only regret is that it wasn't longer and that we didn't do the United States. Everything about the tour was just larger than life. So we'd fly, across the world. We're in Australia for 3 weeks. In Australia, we were in Scotland. I remember we actually stayed in a castle, like a legit castle. And, we'd like wake up in the morning and have high tea, or in the afternoon, high tea. And then we'd go skeet shooting. And I remember one time I was learning how to skeet shoot, which is like with a big kind of a powerful, rifle. And I had bruises all over my shoulder that the makeup had to cover up because the kickback on the rifle, but they would be like, pull, and then choo choo, and you'd shoot them. And so here I'm like having these amazing experiences on tour. Right. And we had so much free time. Me and Lori and I did. So we would be exploring these cities, and then sound check would be 5 o'clock. So you'd go to the venue at 5 o'clock. So we'd have all day until then. And then they would do the sound check. And that was mostly for the musicians. So we would get, as the dancers, we would sort of get a lay of the land. We would see how the stage was set up, check things out. Prince would do his sound check. The musicians would be there making sure everything was right. And then we would go backstage and they would have dinner for us. So we'd eat a little bit and get our hair and makeup going. And for the tour, we actually did our own. And that's what I'm saying. It just got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So we did our own for the tour, and, we'd get our outfits on, and Thunder was the first number. I think that was the silver lame that I'm even talking about in those pictures, the silver bra and the silver shorts. I loved Thunder. And I just remember the lights going dark and the thunder going on and the music starting and us being on stage and the lights sort of coming up on the audience, and there being 60,000 people out there. And we're just like ready to go. And it was just like alive and energetic. And then sometimes we'd have some fast changes. So you'd have to get off stage and you'd have the wardrobe team there with you, because if you were in a back-to-back number, you'd have to hustle. So that was a little stressy. That was the only stressy thing, where it's like, I have to be back on stage in 90 seconds and I have to have a full outfit change. So I'd have like 2 dressers and they'd strip me down and put me on and like they'd have to help you because you couldn't do it without that. And then you'd back on the stage. Wow. But it just, every single night was electric. Every single night watching Prince, I was never bored, which I remember thinking that at the time. Like, I can watch him do these same songs night after night, and it seems like it's the first time every night. And he's just all in every night. And he's just, he was magnetic. He was electrifying. He was like, you can't take your eyes off of him. When he was on that stage, it was just like, and I remember having moments too, because I was so personal with him and because I spent so much time off stage with him, sort of forgetting that about him, because he became familiar. And then I would be in the wings and I would watch him and just go, oh yeah. Okay. This is like, oh yeah. He was just 1 in a trillion. And having that moment of remembering that about him. I remember one stressy time when, a lot of our venues were in these outdoor venues and it would be raining. And I remember being a little bit like freaked out about that because we'd have to dance in the rain. Of course, if we had done the Super Bowl, they were dancing in the rain. It was pouring down. That I'm bummed I never did the Super Bowl, because that performance I think was legendary. And those girls took it like champs. It was pouring and they were just like, oh, shoot. But I was a little bit more like, oh, it's raining. I can't slip. So I remember being I was a little more like prima donna about that. I don't know why, but I was like, I can't do it. It's raining. But of course, Prince is out there with his electric guitar, just killing it in the rain.
Heels.
And his heels just as high as ours, if not higher, doing his thing, doing his splits, bringing it home. But it was the tour. Every ounce of that was just absolute fabulousness.
Can I ask you just to go back on one thing real quick? And you were talking about just the fact that you had seen the show many times, you were a part of the show, and you being sort of on the wings. And I was going to ask you about, I'm glad you touched on it, in terms of like how he transforms or turns into this super showman. And even you being a part of the show almost sounds like you're sort of surprised, like, wow, like, this is the same guy I've been sort of working with, and you just kind of you're seeing him feed off the energy of the crowd and sort of giving them what they want, but being like this just super dynamic performer guy. Like, was there anything that you learned from seeing somebody that's that good that you even be like, I'm a part of this and I'm almost watching it as a fan? That's what it sounds like the way you're describing.
He just owned it. He was just commanding. When he got on stage, he commanded everything. The attention, he would shift the atmosphere. He was truly, I mean, what did I learn from it? I don't know if you can learn from just seeing someone operate in their gift, because I wouldn't even say, oh, that's work ethic or that's professionalism, which, to some degree it was. You have to work your gift and train in your gift. But it was just it was just so second to none. It was such a gift that it would be incredible to behold anytime you could be a part of it. And I remember once, this is a little bit more of a personal story, he shared with me what it was like to have a gift like that and how it was a blessing, but also a burden. And that, he said, how could I just go off and sort of waste my time or just hang out or be idle when I know that at any moment I can sit down at this piano? I remember we were at his house and he shared this. We're hanging out in the living room and he pointed to his piano and he said, at any time I could just sit down at that piano and create something that the world would have forever. And he did that. I remember him many times sitting in his living room and him just sitting down at the piano and just riffing, just, not playing something he already knew, but just freestyling and creating something in the moment that was legendary. And so he felt that. I think that he felt that burden of, knowing that at any moment he could create something that would then, touch the world and the world would have forever.
Man, yeah, that's just amazing to understand the gift. And it sounds like he understood the responsibility of it. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
So one of the questions is kind of related that I wanted to ask you, since you were performing on the tour and, you do have to do those costume changes. And I would assume that was very stressful, to change out of a costume. So there's a little bit of stress involved. For most nights, would you just stand by the stage, to watch the show, or did you go somewhere else to rest up for, when you had to come back on the stage? Can you kind of talk about how did you treat just being on the tour from day to day?
Well, you mean when I'm doing the show or when we weren't doing the show?
Oh, when you were doing what during the show?
During the show. Well, once the show starts, the show is on. So you're on, you're in that kind of thing. So the moment the lights happen and we were in that first number of Thunder and it's it is on. And then from that point, you're pretty much in show mode. You're changing, you're doing things. I'd be watching a little bit, but then I'd be right back on stage. So it's pretty high intensity for the 2.5, hours, 3 hours that you're going. You're just doing it, And then after the show, it's and you're putting on your sweats and you still have huge hair and makeup, but you're kind of winding down. And I would say we washed our faces and did all of that, but usually we didn't because we never knew what was coming next. Right. Mm-hmm. So we'd be in our sweats and hanging out backstage. And then all of a sudden, we'd be getting into the bus or whatever to go back to the hotel. And then we'd be informed, oh, do you guys want to do an impromptu club gig tonight? We'd be like, yeah, where are we going? So we'd probably go back to the hotel. We'd still have our big hair and makeup on, thank God. And then we'd put on some little number and we would just be whisked off to some nightclub. And it'd be, midnight. And we'd come in the back door and we'd be kind of hiding out in the green room. And then all of a sudden, people in the club are just doing their thing. And then all of a sudden, boom, Prince is on stage. What the what? What? Are you kidding me? Da-da-da-dum. So they're freaking out, and then all of a sudden, Lori and I come out. you know? And so we're flipping our hair and we're kind of just like go-go dancing because it's not anything choreographed. So, we're just dancing and like, on him on every side. And he's just doing an impromptu show. People in the club are going nuts. The band's up there. It just turns into this like unbelievable thing. And so we're doing that till 2 or 3 in the morning. And that's what it was like. You just never knew what was coming next. And, we were young, so we had plenty of energy. So we would do that. And then the next day, Lori and I would pop up and we'd go explore and go run around the town and eat and shop and check things out and then get back to the venue at 5:00. And so that was our life for about 4 months. It's incredible.
Incredible. Yeah.
So you mentioned something that I actually wanted to ask. I'm going to say, I wanted to know if you remember any of the club dates, and I'm going to say some club dates, and you may not remember because I don't remember what I did yesterday, so you might not remember.
Going to the nightclub, you mean?
No, like specific club shows. So one was in the Warner Brothers parking lot. Another club show was like Jack the Rapper in Atlanta. There was like a China club in Los Angeles. Like there was I think like a Magic Johnson benefit show or something like that. You don't remember any of those? Okay.
Was I in them? Do we know?
I'm trying to figure out if you were. I don't know. So we were just trying to figure out.
A lot of the club shows we did were overseas when we were on tour.
Okay. Got it.
So a lot of that happened on tour.
Got it.
I don't remember anything in the States where we did that.
Sure. Yeah. So Lee Christian is asking, were you ever scared being on the bed suspended in the air during Insatiable? I read it went wrong once.
I don't remember it going wrong. Nope, I wasn't scared at all. Loved it. I thought that I was just blown away by that bed and being up there. And I loved our outfits. There's like icy blue outfits. And there are a few pictures floating around from that. I wish I had 100 pictures from that because the couple that are out there, I think, are so beautiful. Loved it. I mean, yeah, what do you have?
Well, a song like that. I'm going back to, you're talking about, you can start to feel the energy of things that you're a part of. When you're a song like that and you're doing that performance, do you ever find yourself, was there a moment like you start to kind of fall into that song a little bit? What
I mean? What do you mean? What are you saying? What are you asking there, passive aggressive? Bring it out.
Hilarious. That's a very sensual song.
Mm-hmm.
You're on a bed,
right?
So do you ever just like, is there like in the moment where you're method acting or something where you just kind of?
Well, I mean, Prince is sexy, he's sexy. So you get into that. And being a dancer, that's just part of what you do. You just get into those vibes. That's just how it works. Like, was I ever like, I'm in love with Prince and I want to be his girlfriend? No, I didn't have that. I definitely thought that he had moments where he was just like, how can you not have that? But there was a lot of that dynamic going around. And so I sort of loved that I wasn't a part of that dynamic with him. And it made it just really great for me to have the kind of relationship I had with him, which was very bantery, which was kind of like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Jenny and Giles. Like I was able to really banter with him and like give him a hard time and be sarcastic. And I think he loved that. And we had a unique relationship because that dynamic wasn't a part of it.
That makes perfect sense. I feel you. Gotcha. I was trying to ask it in a very
I call it this way. Yes, indeed. So Sakari has this question. Do you have any blooper stories that you can share? So like, do you remember any funny moments or even like missteps? Let's say you were rehearsing or on tour and something happened that was either funny or any sort of like blooper stories you can share.
Gosh, I mean, nothing is popping up. Nothing is popping up like that. I mean, Prince was very funny. But I think he, and you know, people that know of Prince, or they know that he was like a practical joker and he liked to play around, but he didn't do that with us as much. I think he did that with the guys and with the band, and they had that relationship. We didn't have that relationship with him. You know, with Prince, with the ladies, it still always had that air of like, you know, we were friends, and I liked that vibe I had with him, but it still had that air of like sensuality or that kind of dynamic. You know, it didn't have like his dude vibe like he had with the guys. So
Mm.
I can't think of any bloopers or any kind of things like that with him. Mm-mm.
No problem.
Yeah.
And Hannah has another question. Did Prince let you listen to songs hidden in the vault and ask your opinion about it?
Mm.
I didn't get to hear anything from the vault, but I did get to go into the vault. And I don't recall exactly how it came about, but I remember like he kind of grabbed my hand and just walked me in there. And I didn't even like understand really the vastness of what it was, but I remember it was just walls of like like what I remember, it was like almost like 8-track tapes, like big, thick, you know, containers, and all the walls were lined with it. And there were labels of artists. And I remember just right away, I always remember seeing Bonnie Raitt because I loved Bonnie Raitt at the time. She was one of my favorites. And I remember seeing her name, and it was just names that like covered all the spectrums of artists. It was country and rock and you
Wow.
know everything you could imagine, like Sting and old timers and it was just full.
Mm.
And I think we had a conversation about it, me saying like, well, what is this? And him just sharing that, you know, this was all the music he's made and different artists and things. And um, but I didn't get, you know, too many of the details about like why it was there or what he was going to do with it. But it was just clear. I just knew this about Prince, that he was always making music. That is what he did. He lived, breathed, slept music. That's all he wanted to do. He didn't actually sleep a lot. He was always creating. So even when we were doing things with him, I'm sure he was doing a lot of other things on the side. I'm sure he was recording things with people and doing, that's all he did. So I'm sure he had a whole nother thing going on that didn't have to do with Diamonds and Pearls and what we were doing. So every so often we get a glimpse into that. I got a glimpse into that world. And it was vast, the amount of music that was in there. So I can't wait to see what else might come out.
Yeah, I can't wait for the Diamonds and Pearls Super Deluxe box set. Like this cover alone, it just speaks volumes. And I really love this question from Moderneer. Did Prince ever explain the overall Diamonds and Pearls style to you? For example, the clothing, fashion, and particularly his typhoon hairstyle?
Not to us. No. I don't know if he had a specific vision that he then fulfilled. I mean, his team, I'm sure, always had a clearer vision of how he was going to look, how his hair was going to be, you know, different things he did, like with the facial hair and writing things on his face and all of his stuff that he liked to do. I think he was always clearer about that. But I think Diamond and Pearl, like it just unfolded. You know, it just, you know, he definitely liked the women to be larger than life, put together. You know, we would have a little banter with that because I was a jeans and t-shirt kind of gal, and I would get in trouble sometimes running around with him because the tour manager would sometimes be like, you have to go back and change. Like, you can't wear that. You know, I'd get in trouble. So he liked, you know, the whole, like, look like a superstar 24/7. So that was the main criteria of the look. But he never gave us like, this is how the vibe's going to be. This is how we're all going to be. We were free to, you know, like when he would pick us up and we'd go out to an event, you know, we were free to just dress however we wanted to dress, except I had to be dressed up. I couldn't be too casual.
Mm.
So
You blowing people's minds with all that Sting. No, just saying.
I am. Yeah.
You see the comments where they're like, Sting.
I mean, I'm pretty sure. I can't say 100%. I remember Bonnie Raitt 100%, but it was like almost every artist you could think of. You know, it was almost like every main name you could think of. I remember just scanning my eyeballs and just being like, it was just all over the place with different artists that are top of the game artists. So I don't know if they were tracks that he wrote for them and it was them recording, if it was things that he did. I don't know what it all entailed, but it was just, you know, track after track after track of these boxes with the different artist names on them.
Man.
So another iconic video is Cream. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you see these images? And I really love you like walking behind Prince through like Union Station in Los Angeles. That's like,
Yeah.
whenever I think of you, this is actually what I think of, you walking behind Prince in this particular scene. You're both like just fierce.
I know. Look at the hair and the makeup. I remember just having that black and white theme that they wanted for us. I mean, I just love that. I love the hair. I love the clothes. I love the vibe.
Are these two different days of shooting or something?
Oh, yeah. We shot this for quite a while. We did the dance part, which is the bottom. So that was, I think, maybe a couple days of filming all of that. And then we did, Union Station. So we filmed at the very historic, well-known train station in LA that is absolutely just like, it's just gorgeous, the architecture and the that. So it was almost like two different videos. We did, I mean, the main video was just the bottom part. That was the video. And then we went back and filmed this whole story. It's like 10-minute story. And, you know, the dancers and the whole shebang. So this was just an incredible experience. I mean, look at him. He's just so amazing.
Yeah, he has the walk on.
Oh my gosh. Love it.
I know that when you were on Michael Dean's show that you talked about how you were disappointed with the cover because you're kind of not in the forefront like Lori is, but that essentially Prince paid you back by putting you on the cover of Cream. So I really loved hearing that story from you. This next image, which is from the Cream set, staged, is one of my favorites from Kevin Mazur, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly. And I really love these jeweled bodices that you both have on. They're just so lovely.
Me too. Yeah, this is iconic, this picture. This is one of my favorites as well. I mean, the lighting, that orangey sepia lighting, what we're wearing, how we're on him and the hands on him and his hands on us. And I think there are so many great visuals from this where we're wrapped around him and sliding down and then the legs coming up like you had in the other one. I mean, this one is almost just like a photo book. This whole video is exquisite. And there's so many shots. The ones of me and Lori just doing the arm things. And I mean, everything is just like, you know? And I think the director who did it was that. She was about high fashion. I think she was a high fashion photographer. So you can see that by this video. Like everything looks high fashion. Everything looks like a still. That's just like this beautiful piece of art. You know, I love this image. It's definitely one of my faves.
So Rebecca Blake is the director. She also directed Kiss, Prince's Kiss. I don't know if you saw the Kiss video.
Yes, and Kiss was probably the one video where I was, that I looked at and thought, yes, like I want that. I want to be the Kiss girl. Which girl didn't want to be the Kiss girl? I wanted to be that. And I wanted to, like, her body and the way, she was like after him and he was pushing her back. And I just was, what year was that? What year was Kiss? Did that video come out?
It was 86, right?
Okay.
I think it was 86. Yeah,
that's when I was like in my full, wanting to be a dancer. That was really when it started. That's what I wanted to do. So I remember that video in particular. It's so interesting that it was the same director, and all those years later, I would be making my debut with Prince from her.
Well, you manifested that, right? What you said earlier, you spoke that.
I didn't know how to do that back in the day. I wasn't there at that time. It was just meant to be. Some things just happen in your life because they're meant to be. But that video in particular, Kiss, stood out for me. That's when I really was looking at that and looking at dancers and, of course, Prince and Purple Rain and all of his whole body of work and just being enthralled by that. And yeah, then being able to do it.
All right. The next video is Diamonds and Pearls.
Mhm.
And I think you and Lori look stunning in this particular video. What comes up when you see or hear Diamonds and Pearls?
Again, Rebecca Blake, she knew how to create visuals. I mean, this video I think is gorgeous. I think Prince looks amazing in this video. Like he just looks fantastic. I think we look good too. I wish we'd had a little more action in the Diamonds and Pearls video, being Diamond and Pearl. I wish it was a little like we'd had a little bit more going on for us because I did love like our whole look. I remember too, you know, like seeing this other girl, like all of a sudden there's this other dancer girl and she's dancing around and we're like, who's this girl? Why is she here? This is the Diamonds and Pearls video. Like, why is she, you know, like we're like, who is this dancer girl? Like people would just be there. We'd go to set and there'd be some dancer girl dancing through in her little white chiffon outfit, you know. She probably showed up at chiffon at the audition and hooked him with her chiffon.
Sure, there was some story about who these people are.
And then the big dance number with the acrobats and stuff. I was I mean, it's beautiful, but I was like, I could have used the Diamonds and Pearls video being a little bit more Diamond and Pearl focused. But I do think it's gorgeous. The song's great. And I think he especially looks like phenomenal in this video.
Yes. Yeah. So I have a couple questions in the chat. In terms of the videos, did you have any choice or decision about the outfits you were wearing in the videos?
You know, we always got our say. If we put something on and we hated it, you know, that would be a part of things. In these videos, like the Diamonds and Pearls and the Cream, it was more structured with the wardrobe and how everything was going to look. You know, we didn't have a part. I wasn't buying those outfits. You know, we came to set, and whenever you do anything in entertainment, there's a costume person, a wardrobe department. And so like if you're doing a film, you go in and they have, you know, hundreds of outfits for you, and you try on things and take Polaroids and you decide, oh, I like this. And then the, you know, the higher ups, the directors, the producers, they look at things. And so it's a collaborative effort. So with that with this level of production, that's what it was. You know, I'm sure they had tons of black outfits for us, dresses and suits and things and stuff and whatever. And we tried on different things. And then we all decided, you know, this is great. This is what works. And then we had that killer hair and makeup team. Like our hair and makeup, just ridiculous. So incredible. So perfect. You know, it's just like right on point. But then, like I said, things like the Get Off house style, that was just like me and Lori throwing on an outfit, doing our own hair and makeup, which you can see the hair and makeup is not quite what it was. A little more cash, you know. But yeah, that's the answer to that.
So Hannah keeps bringing a lot of amazing questions. I have to ask this question. How was your relationship with Rosie Gaines? Did you get the chance to hang out a lot as you were all girls together, or was it only a professional relationship with her?
You know, we didn't hang with her or the band too much. We hung with the band a little bit because we'd be traveling together. So there's airport interaction and things like that. Sometimes we'd go to dinners and things. But we weren't, you know, super tight with Rosie or really anyone else. It was either me and Lori just doing our thing or us with Prince, pretty much. I mean, I loved Rosie. I remember being blown away at her and her gift and her voice, and I thought she was incredible. I think she might have had a little bit of maybe a little issue of sometimes like in the Cream video with us mouthing or lip syncing when she was actually singing, and, you know, maybe her not getting that footage, you know? So there I never felt any vibe from her that she was like irritated or didn't like us or whatever. It was we all got along. Everyone was very jovial. We were all a big traveling family. But I think that might have been a little bit of an issue, but also too, we were kids, you know, we were like 20 and she was more of an adult. So there wasn't really a lot of like, I don't think social interaction, except when we were just out and about. But love her, nothing but love for her. Total gift, amazing. That voice, dang.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
nothing like it. It's
yeah.
very singular. So
Yeah.
another
And I
video.
remember in the Get Off video, loving how she looked and like telling her, I was like, you look amazing. She's in that satiny pink outfit. I was like, you look good, you know?
Yes, yes, indeed, indeed. So any memories? What comes up for Strolling when you think about that
I
video?
love strolling. Again, I love how we look here. This was another example of Lori just really sort of making the most of her Prince connection in a way that I didn't have the same ambitions. So she wanted to do kind of the whole thing. She wanted to sing, she wanted to direct. So Lori actually directed this video. And I don't know how she worked that out. I don't know what conversations they had about it. But all I knew is then all of a sudden we were going to shoot this video and she was directing it. So I think she like really went to town and storyboarded it and, decided how she wanted it to look visually and the whole thing. And I just was sort of, then we were just Diamond and Pearl doing our Diamond and Pearl thing. So putting on our roller skates and everything freestyle and with our umbrellas. I loved she had that air too. She had a good eye and was very stylistic. And I thought that video was just really good. And I loved Levi on the guitar and him doing his thing. And
Yes,
yeah, he was
guitar.
awesome. Oh my gosh. That man, everyone was so gifted at what they did. So he was incredibly gifted. All the musicians were really phenomenal, like standout musicians, because Prince wouldn't have anything less than that. Yeah.
So a question from Deja: did y'all ever rehearse with Maite? I know she was on that tour also. Did you guys hang out with her?
I'm trying to remember how. I think Maite was another situation where it was like the girl in the chiffon. Like all of a sudden, there's just another girl there. And we weren't informed of it. We're kind of like, who's this girl? Like in her chiffon, belly dancing, like in the scene. Like we're like, who is she on the Diamonds and Pearls tours? Like, where did she come in? I don't remember being like negative about it or, we just kind of was like, what's happening? And then she was on stage a lot and doing a lot. She wasn't really in our numbers. It was either like a Diamond and Pearl thing, and we were doing like Cream or the videos, or there'd be other numbers where sort of Maite would be featured. I remember liking her, sweet girl, talented girl, beautiful girl, really like had a sweet heart. Like I liked her. But I don't think, again, we hung out too much. I think she was either kind of with her mom, she was really young, or she was hanging out with Prince. I don't remember us all being like in the same vicinity a ton. I mean, sometimes we'd be like going out to parties or something together. But yeah.
And another quick question: do you recall a show at Budokan?
What's Budokan?
I think it's a. I don't. It's a club. No, it's a club. I don't know where it is. FZ, can you let us know where it is? We're gonna go to the next slide while you tell us that. Sexy MF. You guys are in like a little bit. Can you talk to us about filming that, or what comes to mind when you hear or see Sexy MF?
In my recollection, that was just footage that we just were randomly shooting. And it just, clips of it just made it into Sexy MF.
Okay.
That's my recollection.
But it looks like the reason why I chose this particular clip, if you watch it, it looks like you're saying Sexy MF. So that's the reason why I actually put that part.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, my God, I am. I'm swearing. Dang.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Yes. And then
we danced on that for stage too. Yeah, we danced to that one. I mean, I thought that was a great song. Every song he does is great. I mean, that was a great song. It was sexy. I loved it. It was like dun dun dun. Oh my, come on, so good. Well, I guess we were. I mean, but it was what was different about it is we weren't on set when he was actually when they were doing that main video, like with the other lead girl. Like again, like why who is this lead girl? So they shot that whole video separate with the cars and the guys and the band and the thing. We were not a part of that. And then somehow we were just a part of us shooting something along that song. So, you know, maybe we didn't even know, like we thought maybe we were shooting the whole video and it was sort of like a get off extended version where we're with him and we're just lip syncing and we're all over him and doing our thing. And then those clips got in there, but it was separate than the actual like main video shoot.
That brings a question. When do you guys hear the music when you go to do these videos? Is it given to you ahead of time, or do you just kind of hear it when you get there and you start rehearsing to it? You know what I mean?
Trying to think about that. I mean, obviously for something like Cream, there were massive rehearsals because we had a big production. So we were very familiar because we did a lot of rehearsing. Get Off as well. There was like quite a bit of dance rehearsal that went to the music. So we knew the music. Something like Sexy MF, maybe we just were given the track like that day, and then you just, you know, you figure out those hooks and you're just kind of dancing and singing. So,
well, even like something like The House Makes It Get Off. Did you know, hey, you'd heard it before you filmed the video, or you just came in that day and was like, oh, this is okay? You just kind of vibe.
I don't remember. But dang, that version.
Yeah.
That version. I mean, as a dancer, you just put on the music and you just find the music. So even if we didn't hear it more than once, you know, that's how you are as a dancer. You know, you just kind of tune in to where the music's going and you know how to find it in the moment.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So we found out that Budokan is shortened to simply Budokan from Nippon Budokan, an indoor arena located in Chiyoda, Tokyo, Japan, is where that
So what was the
from.
question about that? If we did what?
They just wanted to know, like, do you recall being at the Budokan, you know, like at a concert there with Prince? I'll take that as no, probably.
You know, when you're on tour, when you're actually doing the show, it's all the same because you're on a stage somewhere and it all feels the same. When we're in the cities, exploring the cities, you're clear about where you are in the city. But on stage, it all blends together because you're just on stage with a huge audience. I remember, I think someone had mentioned that, I think maybe someone in the band said that they were aware that the Japanese audience was different, like much more reserved. I don't remember that experience. I mean, it probably happened, but I don't recall. Yeah, we started in Japan. Yeah, that was the first stop. Yeah.
All right. This is our last slide for our video. What do you remember about filming the Continental, which was also in Japan? So there's a nice tie-in to the Budokan. Do you remember?
Am I in that? Am I in this?
Yeah, that's one question I wanted to ask. Like, so on Prince Fault, it says that you're in it, and I've looked at it a lot, and I was like, "Are you really in it?" So I wanted to ask if you were.
None of this looks familiar to me. Who's this girl?
That's what I thought maybe it could be you, but I wasn't sure. So you don't remember it? You don't remember filming this?
No.
Okay.
I'd have to see the whole video, and then I would remember. But just from that one image, I don't.
Yeah, it's really hard to tell who the girl is in this particular video. But like I said, on Prince Vault, if you look up the Continental, it says that it's you. And
it does?
Yeah, and
that's probably wrong. That's probably wrong. But yeah.
So that's the reason why I wanted to ask. Like, do you remember it? Because it was just really hard.
No, I would have remembered shooting the whole video, so I don't.
Okay.
And it was just me without Lori, so that wouldn't probably be right either. I'll look it up. Yeah. But no, I would say that was someone else, and that I'm getting credit for that.
Yeah.
Where's my paycheck? I get paid for that.
The residuals at?
Where's my residuals?
So I want to talk about just a couple of photos in Randy's book, which is My Name is Prince, which was released back in 2019. I actually have it here, but it is a massive book.
Oh
It's really big. It's like one of the best Prince photo books that has been released. I'm always knocking myself in the head with these books. So one photo is also, from Japan. And can you talk? Do you
love it.
remember taking this photo shoot at
I
all?
do not remember that photo shoot. I remember the bullet train. I remember us getting so many memos from the tour manager saying the bullet train waits for no one. So you could not be late. I just remember that so specifically. The bullet train waits for no man. Like it leaves when it leaves and you better be on it. I'm sure I got in trouble for that outfit with those jeans. Prince did not like jeans. He wanted more dressy. Look at Lori. She's in a bra and I'm in like a t-shirt and jeans. There it is. That exactly, like, I'm sure she's in a mini skirt, a short skirt, and high heels, going on the bullet train. That's her, and then there's me. So we're probably all just sitting on the train, and then they say get up and come over here, and then we just start shooting stuff. That's probably what happened.
The other photo in the book is this one, which is stunning.
Love.
I like
Love.
this.
So obviously this is when we're doing the 3 shot with Prince, all of those incredible pictures, and then us just, doing some different versions. Like I don't even have that picture. That's another one. I would love to have a high res of that picture. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, it's one of the photos in the book that I just shared. And then
there's probably 200 pictures of that, of different versions of that I would love to connect with Randy and let her share some of that film of the Prince ones and of those of me and Lori. Yeah.
So talk to us about your live autograph signing that's coming up.
Well, because the album is going to be released and I've been doing all these great podcasts, I've been inundated with a flood of autograph requests through emails and things. So we decided to do an official autograph signing. So you'll see on that slide, if you want to pop that back on there, where you can go right now is if you want to kind of get a photo, you go to streamily.com/Robia Scott. And I have a few Prince photos. I would love to have more Prince photos. I actually reached out to the estate also to see if I could get some high res pictures. Right now I have 2. I have the iconic picture that you see on there with the sepia orangish, and it's me and Lori and Prince. I have that one. And then I also have the cream cover of the album cover. So those are the 2 that I'm signing. I would love to get that one on top with the red, but I don't have a high res. I'd love to get that one of just me and Lori in the black to sign that. So I'm still working on that. But right now the autograph signing is going to be live on Instagram. You can just go to my Instagram, which is Robia Scott. It'll be live the day before the release of the album. So the album's released on the 27th, correct?
Yes.
Right? 27th, the album's coming out on a Friday. I'm going to do the live signing on Thursday, the 26th at 11 a.m. Pacific time, which is 2 p.m. Eastern. And so basically, I'm going to just be on live. I'm going to share some more stories that you haven't heard. I'm going to be signing autographs for you live on camera. So you'll be able to see me signing for you and holding up your picture, and then they'll be sent to you afterwards. You could get a photo now and have it reserved, or you can come on live and do it right there in the moment. So I'm just super excited to be able to sign some photos for you all. And then also for some Buffy fans, I have a few Buffy pictures on there as well. And so it's just a cool opportunity to be able to give you guys some autographs.
That's awesome.
Cool, Modern. I'm so glad you're coming. I'm there. Great. So Thursday, the 26th, 11 a.m. Pacific time, which is 2 p.m. Eastern, live on my Instagram page, which is my name. So just pop on then. Go to the streamily.com/Robia Scott right now. You can see what's up there. I'm hoping to be able to add a couple more things. I'm just kind of waiting to see, because I don't want to give you guys pictures that are like not high res. I want to give you some good photos. But even just having those 2 from the Prince ones, the cream cover and that iconic one from the Cream video, I think are pretty awesome. So there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, and since we're chatting about this, let me just share this too. For those of you who maybe were intrigued by what we were sharing a little bit earlier about, mindsets and mouth and kind of that internal inner life things. If you want a little bit more information about that, I actually wrote a little like mini little guide. I actually have it right here. It's called 3 Reasons You Can't Stop Obsessing About Food and Body Image. And so this is targeted kind of for food because I come from having a lot of food issues in my life, and I know a lot of women have a lot of food issues. But really, one of the things I share is that when we have an issue with food, it's really not about the food. It's not about trying to cut carbs or do all those things to fix it. It's really recognizing that whenever we have an issue, that's really just a symptom to the problem. It's not really the problem, that it's really just a fruit of an unhealthy root. So you might think, oh, I don't have an issue with food, but maybe it's cigarettes or overspending or watching too much television or scrolling social media for too many hours. If there's anything going on in your life that you feel like, God, this kind of has me a little bit alcohol, like too much wine, whatever it might be, all of those things are just fruits to roots. And so I share a lot of my approach about how to deal with all of that external things, like outer experience is a reflection of inner reality. So if you want to change your outer experience, you have to learn how to tap into your inner reality. So even if you don't have a food issue, you'll get something from this because it really talks about starting to understand how to connect emotionally and where you are in your thoughts and all of that kind of stuff. So if that's kind of interesting to you and you're just curious, this is totally free. You can get it if you just go to the website stopobsession.com. It's a little bit different on my website. That's kind of another thing I have there. But if you go to stopobsession.com, you can just download that for free. And you can read it. You can read it in like 15 minutes. It's a quick read, and it'll start to kind of spark you on some of the things we're talking about. Okay, so there you go.
Love it. See, this is why I think you're special as well. Like, because you could just bask in the Prince, Buffy, and all of that, but the fact that you're giving out I call it good game, life lessons, and then that's free. I salute you on that. So yes.
Thank you. Yeah, my thing is like I love all the things I've gotten to do, and it's really incredible, and I love to share those stories with you. But my real life passion is helping other people come into like the fullness and the purpose of what they're called to do. So I love teaching, like you were saying, D'Angela, about the book and those kind of tools of, what tools can I grab that are going to bring me into like my best life, so I feel like I'm operating on all cylinders. So I feel like I'm living excellently. So I look great. I feel great. I'm doing what I've been built to do. Like Prince was doing what he's been built to do. But each one of us have things that we're built to do. We're built to release. So how can I, what can I learn about how to live on a higher level so that I can really be sort of fulfilling my unique blueprint? Like I really believe we each have a blueprint about our lives, and mine isn't to be Prince, yours isn't to be Prince, mine isn't to be you, yours isn't to be me. But part of what I love to do is help you kind of uncover what your blueprint is and then how to get you in alignment with that. So you're reaching your sphere of influence, whether it's the people in your family or whether you have a platform for thousands. Either way, it's impactful. And we're all called to be influencers, and we're all called to release and create and to be the best version of ourselves. So that's what I'm passionate about. That's what I'm gifted about to do. I'm gifted to help people kind of recognize that and to put the tools in your hand so you can align with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your time with us, which is your most valuable commodity. We do not take it lightly. Thank you for the gifts you've given us, over the years with your work with Prince. And you're just such an amazing spirit. Like when I was watching you with Michael King in your first conversation that you had with him, I was like, oh my gosh, you're just exuding all of this positive, radiant energy. And I was like, I want some of that.
Aww.
Yeah. So I just want to say thank you for being you. and just being so generous with your time, because you don't have to spend as much time as you've spent with us this morning, sharing your stories about Prince and your memories. And I just want to say thank you so much. We're grateful.
Thank you. That means a ton. I'm so glad I can do it. I know that, I have some inside info about Prince, and it's exciting for us that love him to be able to hear that and be a part of that. So I thank you both for everything you do, and that you continue to, put awesome information out there and to keep the tribe alive and stirring. So thank you both. I appreciate that. And it's been a blast, you guys.
Thank you.
Yes,
Yeah.
so I'm going to take you off the screen, but before I do, I just want to let everybody know that in the slide deck, if you go to that image where it says Stream and Lead, if you click on the image, it'll take you there, and it is actually on the book club website, which is bookclub.polysolid.com. Go to the bottom, and you go to the slideshow, click on the image, it'll take you there, or you can just remember streamalead.com/Robia Scott. That's another way you can do it, and it's going to be. Yeah, or that. And you can go the day before the Diamonds and Pearls Super Deluxe box set. So have a really fantastic day, Robia. Thank you again for taking time out of your day to stop by.
Thanks, D'Angela. Thanks, Michael.
Thank you.
All right. Bless you guys.
Bless.
Bye.
All right.
Woo!
Yes, that was always, it's an amazing conversation. I'm blessed that I got to actually ask some questions to Robia that I wanted to ask. So I am grateful to Michael for bringing Robia on to share with us today. And let's see what Raywin is talking about, because I see a lot of purple hearts.
What up, Raywin?
Happy Diamonds and Pearls Super Deluxe is available on all live streaming services. It sounds good. And I love this quote. I mean, this comment from Lee Christian, 17-year-old me is very happy. Thanks, Robia. And we got Blade Brown. Thank you, Robia. Excellent from Olga. Thank you, guys. It was awesome.
Let me, as we're doing this as well, and I make a point to thank Pamela Glass. Thank you for the super sticker, 1999. And also thank you to Just Rules for the super chat. Appreciate both of you guys. So thank you so much. I didn't want you to think we didn't see that. I did.
All right. And I want to put this on the chat just for posterity's sakes. I can't talk today for some reason. Yes, huge thank you, Robia, so much for your stories, memories, artistry. Your positive energy is what Diamonds and Pearls was all about. I feel this has become a companion to the Super Deluxe edition. And got the love and positivity. And Raywin is all right. So guess what? We still got to do what did Prince do this week? Week 41. And let's get into it. It's super short this week. One rehearsal and a rehearsal with the Revolution at the warehouse at St. Louis Park, Minnesota. And I'm going to get Michael Dean to do the reading duties. And if I did this right, I think it's 183. If it's not 183, it's 184. It's 184, actually.
184. Doing that. I'm on that. I'm just letting you know right now. I wasn't saying nothing, but that concert is out, and I'm on that. I'm on one. So, shout out to Rose. I'm sorry, what page are we?
184.
184. All right. Mm-hmm. Okay, here we go. Sunday, October 9th, 1983. As you said, rehearsal. Go right into the quote here. Sometimes he would work the song out with the band as he was writing it and start teaching us the song. And then he would go back to the studio and finish it. Or in other cases, he would just go in and do them and then present them to us on a tape when it was finished. And I'd say 80% of the time, that's how it was done. After he'd hand us the cassette of the mixed song, he'd say, okay, go learn this. And we start rehearsing it. That was Matt Fink. Prince spent the day teaching his band Many of the recently recorded songs, including Darling Nikki and The Beautiful Ones, as well as the updated version of Let's Go Crazy and Computer Blue, which at this point had an ending that was shorter than the released version and included only 2 repeats of the lead lines just before the final scream. All these versions would be featured in the performance scenes in the movie. The band was already very familiar with I Would Die for You, Baby I'm a Star, and Purple Rain, as they hadn't changed much since they were performed in August. The rehearsal also included the band jamming on 17 Days, as well as You Are in My System, a song which had charted in 1983 for the System and for Robert Palmer. All right.
All right. So I really love Dr. Fink's quote at the beginning where he talks about 80% of the time he would just give them a cassette and go learn this. That's one thing. The other thing is You're in My System. The systems You're in My System is like a classic. And there, if you go on on your YouTubes, there is actually a version that Prince does during '83. Maybe it's at a rehearsal or something. But I actually have it in the where's that? That was weird. I
Yeah.
have it in the actual playlist. So all right, let's see what's up next on our slideshow because I don't remember. So we're not going to go through this. That's just for just jump into it. So again, today is the 42nd anniversary of Controversy. If I did my math right, I could be wrong. And I'm still bummed out about the reissue having the new Warner Brothers logo on it. I can't let that go. So if you can, try to get a original copy. And one of the things that I pulled out my original copy, I'm gonna go full screen for a little bit. And this is me being such a nerd. I still have my poster, but I don't know if you noticed that I have like the Warner Brothers sleeve, like that. This is the Warner Brothers logo because I got that image off the internet, and it actually doesn't have the Warner Brothers logo, and I was like, okay. So I pulled out my original for you because I'm such a nerd like that. I know, Michael. I know you're like that, lady.
I'm with it. I respect.
And And the reason why we need to celebrate Controversy, in my personal opinion, is I believe that this show, opening for the Rolling Stones on those couple of dates really leveled Prince up in terms of his. I mean, I think there's 2 times where Prince's stage performance got leveled up. This is one of them. And I also think the other time that he probably leveled up was after that James Brown show with Michael Jackson. I feel like he went home and started rehearsing harder. I think after this controversy show, he kind of probably went home and had like a fire, and really showed them what he was about. So controversy, I think, is really important, and in terms of the era, in terms of the album, and not many people talk about controversy. So whenever I have an opportunity to, I will. And then this is another fantastic photo. The previous one was from Alan Bolio. And this one is as well. And I'm wearing my cheetah, glasses in respect to the Hana guitar as well as that guitar strap. And I think of, the cheetah print, whatever, in terms of this era, just classic prints for me. I really, really love it. And both of these images is from an amazing photo book. If you haven't gotten it yet, we've been talking about this all year, Before the Rain by Alan Bolio. It's probably my favorite Prince photo book right now so far. And there are a lot of amazing ones out there. And obviously the Randy St. Nicholas one we just talked about is also incredible. But if I only had to take one to a desert island, this would be the one I would take. But for obvious reasons, it's all about Rude Boy. for me, and seeing Andre and Dez and, all those guys. It's like they were young, they were hungry, they were raw, they were, they were rude boys, and they had an attitude and they had something to prove, So I love the controversy era. And I just want to remind everyone that back in 2021, we did a symposium that celebrated 3 different albums, one of them being Diamonds and Pearls, but another one being Controversy, because it was 30 years of Diamonds and Pearls and 40 years of Controversy. And Controversy was day 3. Diamonds and Pearls was day 2. Rainbow Children was day 1. And we actually had a keynote with Dr. Fink and Peggy McCreary. And what I like about this keynote, and it's actually on Vimeo. This is one of the reasons why I have a link to it in the slide deck, because we have some video clips that YouTube didn't like. So this is on Vimeo, but they're actually like, I don't know if 13 is correct, but there's a lot of talks and roundtables about controversy. One in particular that's pretty incredible with Joan Morgan and Scott Woods and Arthur Turnbull, and I'm missing somebody else off the top of my head, but really great conversation about controversy. And then there's also Zach Hoskins did a really great presentation about the shower poster in the Controversy album, which I think is one of my favorite presentations that's been done at a symposium. But if you haven't checked out the Controversy keynote, I think it's important because I showed Controversy and the sexuality videos, and they kind of do a live commentary of both of those videos, and they're 2 of my favorite videos. So if you want to celebrate Controversy today, that's one way that you can do it. Obviously, play the album, watch a Controversy a concert if you can, and then if you want more, you can maybe watch some of these videos. And I don't know if you weren't here last week, I had an incredible conversation with Matt Thorne. I so loved the conversation. I didn't want him to leave, but he had somewhere to go. He said he would come back. And we talked about all these different versions of his book and covers. And he told me that there were different covers for, different regions, which I didn't realize. So I did a little digging after our conversation, and I found some of them. And so sure enough, the Dutch edition that he talked about with the hat cocked to one side, it's kind of cool. Like if you look at the UK and the US, well, the US version really stands out because it's Prince from New Tour. So all the UK versions are from the same photo shoot, black and white. And I just assumed that, I don't know, that many of the same editions would have a variation maybe of this black and white. I think it's Deborah Feinstein who did the photography. But no, all over the world, there are different covers for Matt Thorne's book. I think the Dutch edition is probably one of my favorite ones. The German edition is interesting because there's another book about Prince that actually uses that same image on the cover. So, and I want to say that book came out after this one, but maybe they didn't see the German edition. So that was interesting. Also, seeing 2 Purple Rain photos, one for the Spanish edition and Finnish edition, was interesting because Matt and I specifically talked about how he had told them not to use an image from Purple Rain. So I thought that was an interesting find. And then there's even a Croatian edition that had, that's not even in the 80s or the 90s. So in the 20 teens, which is nice to see. So for those of you who are into collecting different book covers, I thought you might want to see that. And I didn't see this before, so I want to bring this back. Controversy was the answer to, or the other side of Dirty Mind, more bold rebellion. Modern Air. Well, first of all, Modern Air, you got a rude boy pin, so I know you know what's going on as your avatar. So I mean, like, duh, you know what's going on. But like, yeah, for me, like, Controversy is a bolder statement than even Dirty Mind. Even because, like, most people talk about Dirty Mind And yes, it was very provocative, but I felt like he had this attitude during the controversy era that is just like unparalleled. Like he was ready to kick some butt and take names. Like he was like, I don't know, on fire, in my personal opinion. And let's see, Artful says controversial era is brilliant. The beginning of Prince's uniqueness. I love that. All right, cool. And so I'm going to try to get through this real quick, Michael. Let's see. All right, so Brent Fisher is doing a show on November 7th out on the West Coast. So if you're on the West Coast, you guys have been getting a lot of great shows. So if you're on the West Coast, please support Brent Fisher Orchestra. They're going to be playing music by Claire Fisher, his father. So I hope that you will go out and support Brent Fisher. And again, if you click on the image, it'll take you to where you can buy tickets. In terms of Mentor Newark, the Rich Benson's exhibition is still going strong, the one that was curated by the high school students. So if you're in the tri-state area, it's an incredible exhibition. And Jesse told me that they've added more from when it opened. So I'm really going to try to go see it before it ends, which I think is going to be at the end of the month. I could be wrong. I can't remember the exact day. I need to find that out for sure. And then I'm very excited about Record Store Day, Black Friday, November 24th. But what I really want to talk about is 14 days. And the reason why it's I don't know when I'm going to get my copy, because I'm not going to get it on the day. So it might not be 14 days. It might be more like 15, 16, or 17 days. It depends. But I'm ready. Are you ready, Michael Dean?
Jacket. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm already ready. I'm ready. You know, I guess the thing I'm really waiting for is the video of the Glam Slam show. But yeah, the Riches have already started. The album remastered version is out there. Listen to that; it was great. Glam Slam and wearing that down. But yeah, when we're gonna get all the Bolt tracks are coming, the books and the pictures. So yeah, I mean, it's a glorious time to be a Prince fan.
Yeah.
Glorious.
It is so glorious. That is the correct word. Now, have you listened to this? Because I haven't listened to this.
Yeah, check it out later.
Yeah, I'm not gonna listen to it, and because I haven't listened to anything until I get my hand on the box set. I just want to experience it as a whole. And luckily, Kanisa gave let us know that there was like a spoiler. She gave a spoiler alert, and I was like, okay, I'm not listening to this then. If there are little snippets, so that's just me. I just want to hear it in its totality, not in pieces. And then actually, Paulette, what is it? Super Deluxe Edition, an amazing website that talks about all the deluxe editions, did a unboxing video. Did you watch this, Michael?
I've seen some of it. Looks great.
Okay. All right. So
I'm when something Prince drop, own it. Own it.
Well, this is something I definitely don't want to watch, because I really
if you don't want to see nothing, you shouldn't watch it.
Yeah. It's like I've already seen too much with the band, but I was like, I could not see it because it was like in a feed of on Twitter or something like that. But I haven't watched any of it. And Kim is saying unboxing video good too. So okay. All right. Kim is succumbing. Can't wait. All right. And then don't
it's Prince. We've been succumbing. That's what we're here for, ain't it?
I know, but it's just like, I don't know. I just want it to be special. I don't know. I feel like
it's special to it's special when you have it special. It's special to you and I mean, we gotta be careful, and especially in the Prince community. I don't know if other families, but we gotta stop putting all these boxes and limitations. Just enjoy it how you do. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. I mean, I'm talking about me. You do you do. And
right.
I'm not saying you, Michael Dean. I'm just saying you, whomever is watching. Obviously, if you want to listen to all the tracks, you do whatever you want to do. I'm just talking about me personally. You have to understand that I lived for the album experience. That's how I got into music, was listening to albums. I loved looking at the covers, reading the liner notes, and actually, it's like a whole thing. Like it's, I
We
don't
all did.
know. It just, yeah. So it's just I want to do it differently, and I'm not negating any way that anybody else wants to do it, you know. But this is just the way that I want to do it, and it's important to me that I make it special for me. So again, I'm not talking about anybody else. You can do whatever you want. I'm just talking about me. That's what I'm
Right,
talking
right.
about. Yep. And then I'm sure everybody already knows, but just in case you don't know, there is going to be an official Diamonds and Pearls Super Deluxe album release party at Paisley Park, which would be incredible to go to on Friday, October 27th. It would be so incredible to watch because they said that they're actually going to show the Glam Slam show at Paisley Park. So it would be a great thing to be able to go to because the sound system at Paisley is just incredible. And if I was rolling in the dough, I would be there, but I actually have a work event. So it doesn't matter if I was because I couldn't be there anyway. But luckily, the 2019 Prince on the Big Screen show at Paisley Park was a Glam Slam show with the live, and with MPG live, with everything, all the tracks muted except for Prince and Rosie. I don't think that would ever be topped. Like that experience, like even seeing the other big screens in the really large arenas, it was something so special about seeing that Glam Slam 91 show at Paisley Park with the MPG. It was awesome. And so this, I think, would be the next best thing is being able to watch the Glam Slam show at Paisley Park on Paisley Park's sound system. So if you're able to go to the official release party, I would go with bells on. It's just that I'm not able to do so. And let's see, Dixon says, I'd love to go too. The Glam Slam show is awesome. His performance of Soul Sacrifice is amazing. And Christina says, I wish I could go have tickets to another event that night. And Christina, you are in Minneapolis. So maybe they'll do another showing or screening or something. And Modern Air says, I remember when I first found out, about Diamonds and Pearls, Tower Records, Sunset Boulevard had a whiteboard where they'd write down the coming soon releases. I miss that whiteboard. I know all about the record store whiteboards and what was going to be coming up. Those were the days. Yes. And then let's see. And just a reminder that we're also going to do an unofficial virtual celebration in December, on December 9th and 10th, to give you time to marinate in the Super Deluxe box set and really listen and watch. So we're going to be doing that for 2 days. We won't be doing What Did Prince Do This Week that week, so we can concentrate on celebrating Diamonds and Pearls. So that's it for this week. We have the accompanying playlist. We have the unboxing video there if you want to watch it. And next week, for week 42, we're going to be reading pages 184 to 187. And there's a beginning chapter called Introducing Apollonia Cotero. And then it's going to cover mid to October of 1983. And I love this comment from Dixon. I used to try and get those big cardboard store promos, and there was an amazing one for Diamonds and Pearls. It was basically that Randy St. Nicholas one that was like huge with the black suit and the yellow guitar. There was a huge cardboard store promo for that. I'm sure someone has that. Okay, and Ben says off topic, but when I worked as a makeup artist at Glamour Shots, our manager Ali discovered I was a huge Prince fan, and she told me that she was the one in the Get Off video holding the Victrola. That's a
Right.
pretty important part of Get Off, actually, the Victrola shot. Yes, Dixon. So do you have this one, Dixon? The Diamonds and Pearls one? Ooh, this is a good one to have, Lee Christian. The cardboard cutout of Come. Yes. And that's the
What
other
is that?
symposium we're doing. I thought it was the one, is it one where has the cane behind his neck and he's kind of like looking
Uh,
forward a little bit? Is that the
okay.
cutout, Lee
Hmm.
Christian? What's the cutout for Come? That's what I remember, but I could be making that up. So, Michael Dean, how you want to take us out? Did we cover everything you wanted to talk about this week?
Oh no, we had a ball. I will tell you, I'm gonna be back online here maybe in another hour or so. We're gonna get into some topics and talk about all that good stuff. We're gonna play some music, might talk about some movies, you dig? But we'll have some fun.
So, real quick, this is Damon. Hi, Damon. Is this really
Damon, what's
Damon,
going on?
or is it a different? If this is really Damon, thank you for being here. It should be the same Glam Slam video that was at not 2022. I thought it was 2019. I think that was no. You're right. Yeah, no, it's 2022. I'm sorry. I need to eat. It's part of the problem. You're right. It was probably 2022. I
Damon,
think.
we're gonna be asking you these questions, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, it's basically the same. It's the same video, Damon, that was showed at Paisley Park during Celebration. I'm just getting my celebrations mixed up.
Shout out.
Yeah. Yes, shout out to Damon. I mean, that show, that Glam Slam show is so incredible. In fact, all the Diamonds and Pearls shows and the Nude Tour are incredible because of you, Damon. And, you guys are
I think,
dancing.
yeah, Prince shouts his name out on this Clamstone, if I'm not mistaken. Something like Damon.
Yeah,
Yes, or something.
yeah.
Jughead.
No, it's not. I mean, it's not. It is basically whatever was shown at Paisley is it's going to be the same show. So FYI.
All right. Well, I do believe we are ready.
We are ready. All right. So we're going to be out of here.
Ladies and gentlemen, work it like a job. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Peace.